The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by Tilani Piris. The Sandhahiru Saya offered to the Buddha Sasana for the veneration of devotees. There is a rapid rise in dengue cases in the wake of monsoon rains, LRH warns. Sri Lanka and Bangladesh discuss preferential trade agreement and cooperation in the field of shipping. The Kandakadu Quarantine Centre was reconverted as the Kandakadu Drug Rehabilitation Centre. The PHI union says that there is an upward trend in COVID-positive cases among school children. And in Watchlight, the Health Ministry warns that the public and politicians must act with responsibility to prevent another lockdown. The Natural Hazards Early Warning Centre issues a red alert warning for naval and fishing communities in the deep sea areas. And on overseas news, the ongoing food crisis and poverty-intensified child marriage in Afghanistan. The Sandhahiru Saya in Anuradhapura, which was built in memory of the fallen war heroes who sacrificed their lives for the territorial integrity of the country and to mark the end of 3 decades of war, was offered this afternoon to the Buddha Sasana for the veneration of devotees. The religious ceremony was held under the patronage of the Mahasangha and with the attendance of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. The pinnacle of the stupa was unveiled amid the chanting of pirits by the Mahasangha. Constructions of the stupa commenced on a concept of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa when he was the president. Military personnel contributed their labour to build the stupa, which is 283 feet in height. The president and the Prime Minister made the first flower offerings to the stupa. The Public Health Inspectors PHI union says that there is an upward trend in COVID-positive cases among school children. President of the union, Upul Rohana, said that many school children, teachers and academic staff members had tested positive for the COVID virus. Most of the schools in the southern, western and central provinces, including many districts, found many positive cases, he said. He added that there are many positive cases in the community, but many of them are unaware of the issue. PHI union instructs the parents and teachers to advise the children to always wear face masks and to wash or sanitize their hands frequently. Meanwhile, 518 COVID patients have been identified and 15 deaths were confirmed today. The Health Ministry warns that the number of COVID cases will be increased in the near future. It added the public and politicians must act with responsibility to prevent another lockdown as it will adversely affect the economy of the island. The Foreign Minister of Sri Lanka, Professor G.L. Piris, called on Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina at her office in Dhaka. Minister Professor Piris briefed the Prime Minister of Bangladesh on Sri Lanka's success in containing the COVID-19 pandemic and on a wide range of current issues. Particular attention was paid to progress towards a preferential trade agreement and cooperation in the field of shipping. The Prime Minister described to Professor Piris initiatives taken by her government to embark on an extensive digitalization program and to enhance the disposal income of farmers. Increased airline connectivity between Colombo and Dhaka and tourism sectors was also discussed. Minister Professor Piris is in Dhaka to assume the vice chair of the IORA at the 21st meeting of the Council of Ministers. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Army maintained Kandakadu Quarantine Centre was reconverted as a rehabilitation centre. The Commissioner General of Rehabilitation, Darshana Hettiarachchi, told the SLBC the centre previously known as the Kandakadu Drug Rehabilitation Centre will be reutilized for the same purposes. He added the centre provides room for over 1,000 drug addicts, including women. The rehabilitation centre was used as a quarantine centre and to treat COVID-19 patients for more than 18 months under the Army. The centre was first transformed into a drug rehabilitation centre in 2014 to treat drug-addicted persons by giving counselling, vocational education and training. The Kandakadu Drug Rehabilitation Centre is located in the Valikanda Polonnaruwa district. It will be operated by the Bureau of Ministry of Justice now. There is a rapid rise in dengue fever cases in the wake of monsoon rains. The Lady Ridgeway Hospital says the ongoing monsoon rains and flooding provides perfect breeding sites for mosquitoes and have led to a surge in cases since the beginning of the rainy season. Hospital for Children LRH consultant pediatrician Dr. Deepal Pereira says that the public has now focused only on COVID cases, but the number of dengue-infected cases was increasing rapidly. He said there are 4 or 5 dengue patients in every ward in both government and private hospitals. Dr. Deepal Pereira also said as most of the construction sites were shut down due to the lack of cement stocks, those abandoned construction sites provides nursery grounds for mosquitoes to breed. The consultant doctor strictly advised people to put more attention into the spreading of dengue virus, similar to the attention drawn to the coronavirus. He also instructs parents to be very careful with their children and to opt for laboratory blood tests if fever prevails more than 3 days. That ends local news for now.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidya Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya.
There is a rapid rise in the dengue fever cases in the wake of the monsoon rains. The Lady Ridgeway Hospital says ongoing monsoon rains and flooding provides perfect breeding sites for mosquitoes and have led to a surge in cases since the beginning of the rainy season. Hospital for Children LRH consultant pediatrician Dr. Deepal Pereira says that the public has now focused only on COVID cases, but the number of dengue-infected cases was increasing rapidly. He said there are 4 or 5 dengue patients in every ward in both the government and private hospitals. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
The Health Ministry says that the public and politicians must act with responsibility to prevent another lockdown. It is also noted that if another lockdown is imposed, it will have a serious impact on the daily lives of the public. The Health Ministry also noted that administering booster shots will increase with more doses of the Pfizer vaccine expected in the country. The ministry said Sri Lanka has ordered more Pfizer vaccines to be used as the 3rd dose of booster shots. That came to you in Watchlight.
Select technical and vocational courses with proper guidance. Visit regional career guidance centers or visit nearest district divisional secretariat offices and meet career guidance practitioners or skills development officers. Be aware on unregistered institute which promote widely. Don't waste your valuable time and money. Visit www.tvec.gov.lk for more information. Message from Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
Coming up, World News. The headlines are first, the United States warns that the worsening conflict in Ethiopia risks peace and stability in Africa. The ongoing food crisis and poverty intensified child marriage in Afghanistan. Melbourne's pubs and cafes can have unlimited patrons from midnight today. It is reported families in war-torn Afghanistan offering daughters as young as 20 days old up for future marriage in return for a dowry. In a statement, UNICEF Executive Director Henrietta Fore said UNICEF's partners registered 183 child marriages and 10 cases of selling of children between 2018 and 2019 in Herat and Baghdad provinces alone. These children were between 6 months and 17 years of age. UNICEF said the COVID-19 pandemic, the ongoing food crisis and the onset of winter has exacerbated the situation. In 2020, almost half of Afghanistan's population was so poor that it lacked necessities such as basic nutrition or clean water. As most teenage girls are still not allowed to go back to school, and the risk of child marriage is now even higher. Australia's second largest city, Melbourne's pubs and cafes can have unlimited patrons from midnight today. All stadiums can also return to full capacity as authorities lifted nearly all remaining COVID-19 restrictions for the vaccinated residents in Australia. The full vaccination level for the eligible population is expected to reach 90% over the weekend. Under more relaxed rules, people can hit the dance floor and there will be no limits on home gatherings. But masks will remain mandatory in health facilities, public transport and retail stores. Health authorities said eased restrictions mean major summer sports events to be able to welcome full capacity crowds as usual. Antony Blinken, United States Secretary of State, warned that the worsening conflict in Ethiopia risks peace and stability in Africa. Blinken made the comments in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, after meeting Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta. The U.S. Secretary of State hailed Kenya's recent efforts to reach a ceasefire between the government of Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and the Tigray Liberation Front, TPLF fighters. The TPLF announced they had created a coalition with other rebel groups and pledged to march on the Ethiopian capital. International observers have said both sides committed abuses during the year of fighting, which has killed thousands of people, displaced more than 2 million, and left hundreds of thousands facing famine-like conditions. Back to the world news headlines. The United States warns that the worsening conflict in Ethiopia risks peace and stability in Africa. The ongoing food crisis and poverty intensified child marriage in Afghanistan. Melbourne's pubs and cafes can have unlimited patrons from midnight today. That ends World News.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
The Coconut Development Authority has stepped up to create opportunities for exporters and manufacturers to meet with global experts and investors in the field of the coconut industry. The authority said the move will facilitate the manufacturer to learn about the latest trends in the industry and to start commercial partnerships with members of the international market. It added it will also be vital support for them to expand their businesses in the international market and also to boost the Sri Lankan economy. That came to you in Development News.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on with sports news. Mickey Arthur will join Derbyshire CCC as its head of cricket at the end of Sri Lanka's upcoming 2-test series at home against West Indies, which runs from November 21st to December 3rd. His contract with Sri Lanka Cricket was due to expire at the end of the West Indies series anyway. Arthur's exit could be part of a substantial shake-up for Sri Lanka, with several of the coaches attached to the men's national side expected to have a reapply for their roles. Batting coach Grant Flower, bowling coach Chaminda Was and fielding coach Shane McDermott are also understood to be facing uncertain futures. This also means that SLC has now blown through 7 head coach appointments in the space of 10 years, with Jeff Marsh, Graham Ford, Paul Fabres, Mavanatapattu, Chantika Hathurusinghe and now Arthur having held the role since 2012. Arthur, a well-travelled coach who has worked with the national men's team of Australia, South Africa and Pakistan, apart from Sri Lanka, will replace Dave Houghton at Derbyshire, with Houghton, the former Zimbabwe captain, having left the club earlier this year to take up a position as coaching manager with Zimbabwe Cricket. That ends Sports News.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U-Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The coconut product sector plans for exports to Europe via the international plant Messi Essen in Germany early next year. The International Trade Fair will be held from the 25th to 28th of January. The Coconut Development Authority has taken measures to facilitate the participation of Sri Lanka's coconut-based exporters or manufacturers at the popular trade fair, following a 1-year break from physical participation at trade fairs. That came to you in Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The Energy Minister Udaya Gammanpilla says that the government stopped crude oil imports to manage foreign exchange carefully. During a media briefing in Colombo today, he said dollars cannot be earned by staging protests and trade unions should understand it. He said that the responsibility of trade unions is to support a decision taken to safeguard the institution. The minister pointed out that even powerful countries in the world are facing an energy crisis at present. That was Economic News.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning. With video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
The Natural Hazards Early Warning Centre has issued a red alert warning for naval and fishing communities in the deep sea areas. It is applicable for the sea areas extending from Mannar to Trincomalee via Kankasanture and the Arabian Sea. The Met Department said the low-pressure area located to the northeast of Sri Lanka in the Bay of Bengal is currently moving westwards and will reach South Andhra Pradesh and adjoining North Tamil Nadu coast this evening. The Met Department also stated that heavy showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the sea areas extending from Mannar to Batticaloa via Kankesanture and Trincomalee. It added the wind speed can increase up to 50 to 60 kilometers at times in the sea area extending from Mannar to Trincomalee via Kankesanture. The wind speed can increase up to 50 to 55 kilometers per hour at times in the sea areas extending from Galle to Hambantota via Matara. That ends the weather forecast.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning. With video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
And now to in this news broadcast, the main points once again. The Sandahiru Saya offered to the Buddha Sasana for the veneration of devotees. There is a rapid rise in dengue cases in the wake of monsoon rains, LRH warns. Sri Lanka and Bangladesh discuss preferential trade agreement and cooperation in the field of shipping. The Kandakadu Quarantine Centre was reconverted as the Kandakadu Drug Rehabilitation Centre. The PHI union says that there is an upward trend in COVID-positive cases among school children. And in Watch Live, the Health Ministry warns that the public and politicians must act with responsibility to prevent another lockdown. The Natural Hazards Early Warning Centre issues a red alert warning for naval and fishing communities in the deep sea areas. And on overseas news, the ongoing food crisis and poverty intensified child marriage in Afghanistan. That ends this news broadcast.